brush it off like the other phrases hung around our kindergarten classrooms, and even though 99% of us know this, we often think of failure as the end of something, like a door slamming shut and locking. For me, this is like when I hated math for years, just because I couldn't get one concept right. In reality, failure really depends on how we see it, and often we as humans see it in the wrong way. Looking at it from a new perspective, looking at it backwards, shows us not the dead end we're used to seeing, but the start of a new horizon that we couldn't have reached another way. This is when we should respond accordingly and stay positive, and not be afraid of the start to failure that we see, and not back off easily and be negative with it. According to a research group, Big Think, you have to fail 16% of the time to ultimately succeed. And when we learn and fail again and again, this ultimately leads to the persistence and the goals we're striving for, whether it's a new path failure open for you or an important goal. I want you to think of a challenge, a skill that doesn't come to you easily, something that you may even hate because it's just not your thing. For many of us, this specific skill is different, but our initial progress towards it is the same. It's frustrating, stressful, and even leads to us thinking that we can't take it anymore or wants us to give up. For me, this is sports. I see students my age doing so good at their sports, and it makes me frustrated because I know I'm not that good. But when we take off the burden we put on ourselves, the burden of stress and fear, that's the first step in succeeding, and that's the first step that we should do to ultimately reach our goal. Taking off this burden off of ourselves expands our path instead of blocking it. For example, the example I brought up earlier, math. Like, I found out that when I need to study what I failed at, what I don't know, to actually improve. Otherwise, I'd keep making the same mistakes. This made me hate this subject so much less and taught me not to shut it out, but to do what I needed to do to reach my end goal. This shows how difficulties allow us to grow and don't block us from doing anything. Another way failure reveals its true purpose is turning a setback into a new horizon. It exposes new paths, and failure has an alternative way of letting us fail at something we thought we really loved. But when we fail at it, it leads us to something we love even more, or helps us want to reach our goal even more. New paths remain invisible when things go according to plan, and only when our original direction doesn't happen do we see more opportunities meant for us in the first place. For example, something that happens every day, maybe for a test, we study hard but still don't get the grade we want. It forces you to rethink, like rethinking what you're studying, rethinking how you're studying, or even rethinking your time management skills. Failure teaches us to stop doing things wrong and isn't the dead end we always see. Like simple things, like getting a question wrong on homework or getting a question wrong on a test. It tells us what not to do next time, rather than just making us feel bad, which most of us thinks happens. With opening new paths and opportunities to us, failure isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign to think and redirect yourself. A chance to stop clinging onto your old self, of mistakes you often make, and broaden your horizons and lead you to something new. And often, when we succeed from failure, rather than letting it bring us down, it helps us realize that the fear of failure is like a shut, locked door. But when we open it, it proves us and shows us that the new horizons we discover often push us to the success we're striving for. Thank you.